protection program. So we're going to talk to Mr. James. We're going to invite him on. This is his second time being on, so I can't wait to see him. All righty. Hello, James.
Hello, Miss Sneed. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Good. I'm well. Well, blessed to be here.
Glad to see you. Glad to.
Awesome. Likewise.
So now, there's some. Is this great news? Is this new news? How are we gonna? How can businesses take advantage of what's going on now?
Absolutely. So they continue to refine, excuse me, uh, this program. As we mentioned before, it's been a work in progress. I think Congress, along with the SBA, have found ways to make the program more efficient, make it work for more small businesses. Marva, as you know, here recently, uh, there was a moratorium on the program for those that had employees over 20, 20 employees, which enabled a lot of the small businesses with 20 employees or less
Mhm.
to apply given this time.
Okay. Okay. So that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. So now I heard about someone who I think you and I talked the last time. You got to make sure your taxes are paid for 2019 or 2020 before you can apply for this, or at least have you
For
and
2019.
IRS have a agreement or whatever. So now, so they've done that. Now they are ready to apply for their loan, and the paperwork was filled out incorrectly, and they got denied or rejected. So what happens after that? How do they fix that?
I think we you find out what the issue is, the reason for the rejection. A lot of times, if they receive the first paycheck protection program, the first draw on it, the provision on the second, as we discussed, is that revenue reduction that you have to show, and you have to be able to uh, articulate that you lost 25% in a given period. You could utilize the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, or fourth quarter, or you can look at it annually. So long as you can prove or shore up that you lost that 25% reduction in a light quarter. And
Okay.
so and Marva, and I don't know if I'm speaking to the error that you're mentioning, but that's something that a lot of our lenders have found with the second program is just being able to uh, articulate and show that there was a loss in that given period.
Okay. Well, okay. So now, what happens if one bank turns them down? Do is it over, or can they go somewhere else?
So absolutely, Marvin. If there's for any given reason a bank, and I would kind of be cautious into the reason why there was a decline, as some of these rules and hopefully all banks are uh, leaning on the FAQs or the guidance the SBA provides. That being said, uh, if there's a bank that has turned down an applicant, I for sure would want to try to work out and identify the reason why there was a decline and see if there's something that a bank, a community bank, can do for them in that event. And you know, if it's as simple as an application error
Hmm.
that they can potentially rectify and look forward to uh, submitting through the SBA through another financial institution, then I would certainly encourage them to do so.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense because I think the big banks, the Bank of Americas and Wells Fargo, and those big banks, you know, they can call it whatever they want to call it. You got to dot all of these I's and cross all of these T's. If you don't, you're out. I'm kicking you out, and I can't even you can't even apply again because it's like they do that. So I like your community bank. I like the fact that the community bank is, the small businessman's bank.
Absolutely, Marvin, and that was one thing that I spoke about. Working with the community bank, uh, one, the lender that you're working with. Uh, there's a little more personal touch to that the lender may provide. I know that I've spoken to a lot of our clients one on one to help them figure out the paycheck protection program. If I'm having difficulties with some of the questions, I'm sure that some of our small business individuals are having those same questions. So we're here to help as much as possible. And more institutional banks or larger banks is more through processes where you're dealing with different individuals that may not even be your particular lender. But as I mentioned before, community banks are through this process have been the Amazon Prime to be able to get things done a lot quicker, a lot more efficient. Again, if there are issues that you have throughout the application program, you can call that particular lender up and say, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what can you help me figure out what that issue is? Whereas, I suspect dealing with the larger institution, it may be a little more cumbersome.
I see. I think I'm inclined to agree with you on that too, as well. So now, so businesses now that have 20 or less employees, did something extend there? Tell us about that again.
So I believe this was instituted a week ago.
Okay.
That employees that have, or excuse me, small businesses that have less than 20 employees, they have an opportunity to go into this program for themselves to apply to receive those funds without a lot of the larger businesses taking advantage and moving forward with their applications. And so those small businesses that have less than 20, they have the sole opportunity now until March 9th to apply without some of those larger institutions, larger small businesses taking advantage and getting their application ahead of them.
Okay, and end up taking the money, and then
Yes, ma'am.
There's nothing left.
Yes,
so,
ma'am.
So, do you have any idea what the amount of money that's left to be loaned out from the plan?
So, the Paycheck Protection Program was allocated $280 billion. I think there's roughly 160 billion that has been used. So there's still funds out there. We aren't seeing a huge rush for small businesses to get their application in. However, as I mentioned before, I would not sit on the sideline and wait because it's one of those the program itself may sunrise, and then two, there may be a mad dash depending on how long this pandemic continue to persist. There may be small businesses out there that actually do take advantage of it, and those funds expire.
Okay. Wow. So that's great. That's great news. That's great news. I'm glad to hear that. I just hope that people can really get this done, because this is too important to waste, this money
I
out
agree.
there. And your black and brown, how are your black and brown customers? Are they being able to take advantage? Or is there any problems with them being able to do this?
I think that there's still an opportunity for minority institutions to come in and utilize the program. I think that there's some hesitancy, and maybe if there's not enough promotion into or I'd say promotion or marketing towards our minority small businesses, and letting them know that this program is around for them to take advantage of.
Mhm.
Um, I do think, or I do want to speak to one of the revisions that I guess the small business made towards allocating $1 billion to these sole proprietors and independent contractors during this period to take advantage of using the gross income for these applicants, and just being out having a conversation with these small businesses, especially our Black and brown small business owners. I think you having that conversation and letting them know that one, these resources are available to them. Two, the process is not so hard or cumbersome to uh, have it forgiven. That's another thing, component that I feel as though is kind of a misnomer, being that you're working with the government. It's too challenging to understand the programs or even get something done. But with this program, if you're working with a community banker, they can explain the program a lot better and kind of guide you and hold your hand from the initial standpoint to getting the loan taken through servicing and getting it dispersed to you so you can have the funds, but also on the back end of the forgiveness, working with you on the forgiveness side of things and letting you know which documentation you need in order to have it forgiven.
Okay, I think that is paramount in this because they started out saying grant, 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 not payable. You don't have to pay them back. You don't have to pay them back. But then when it rolled out, it came out loan, loan,
Right.
loan. Go to the bank, get your loan. They're gonna give you a loan. They're gonna give you the money. And these people are like, yeah, but I thought it was a grant. And then it's like they missed the sentence that said it is, and in 9 months you have to apply to have the loan forgiven. Seems
Mhm.
like that got missed and lost in translation or in the conversation.
Absolutely, and I think that that's why it's extremely um, important to rely on your banker, rely on uh, your community banks that can sit and have that conversation with you. I think being able to work in tandem and understand the program for one, but also a banker that's going to encourage you. One, it's in our best interest and it's in your best interest to have it forgiven. These proceeds are used to help your business through these trying times in order to get you back on your feet and get the business back up and running. I think we're on our way there, but I would strongly encourage your audience and many of our small businesses to work with their institutions and one, like you said, understanding the program itself, so they know what the expectations are, but then two, being able to apply those and then have those funds dispersed, use those funds for what the program is meant for, and then two or three, get it forgiven.
Okay, so can you just quickly tell us what is the split? I know 60%, I think it's 60% is for the payroll and not more than 60%, and then not more than what, 40% for operations. So can you explain that?
Absolutely. So the Small Business Administration, they came out initially. You were to use 75% of those proceeds for strictly for payroll, and then the 25 for discretionary expenses regarding or relating to the business operations. And they came out, revised the program as they realized that that was uh, more challenging to do especially in the 8-week cover period. And so they extended the cover period and lessened that amount, as you mentioned, to 60% directly to payroll. And then the remaining 40% goes to various expenditures. And the revision done in December certainly broadened the spectrum of that. More of it, I've encouraged our borrowers to use that for utilities, for interest on mortgage, for their operations, and then capital expenditures as well. There's a few other components that they could use it for. I would encourage them to review the FAQs, but those are some of the main items that come to mind.
And so you said that they extended the time. So what did the time go to now?
So instead of the 8-week cover period, it's 24-week
Okay.
cover period. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's great. That is really good. All right, let me ask you this. Now, where I know Vista Bank is all over, but do you have banks in Houston, in Austin?
We do have a bank in Austin. We don't have an institution or a brick and mortar in Houston area. However, we do have clients, and banking these days, as you know, you could do it via mobile. You could do it online. So I would encourage a lot of clients in those particular areas that we don't have an actual brick and mortar store. You're still could have access to Vista Bank. I would encourage it. Some of the things that we've done in the last 10 years and have grown so much, and it's because of our clients and certainly because of the employees that we have.
So you could help somebody in Houston.
Yes, ma'am, and have through our first round or first draw, as we call it, we certainly helped folks in state as well as out of state. We have really tried to encourage a relationship through this. This is an opportunity not only for us as lenders, but for our the applicants or those that we would love to serve to get with a personal lender that they know by name, to be able to not only help through these times, but also once we get through navigating these waters, that we can turn around and continue this relationship, banking relationship, and help them continue to grow their business. And so that's one thing that we've tried to do, whether that's in our immediate market or we certainly have gone beyond and helped those that's not in our market and certainly out of state as well.
So how would somebody in Houston get in touch with y'all?
I would encourage them to first get on vistabank.com. That's VISTA bank.com. They will be connected with a lender from there, or a lender will be in contact with them. We do have several links on there, including the FAQs related to the Paycheck Protection Program. But if it's just generating or starting a relationship, our information can be included on there. We do have lenders in our Austin market, as well as our Fort Worth and Dallas market.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's fantastic news. That it really is, because I just go back to the fact that the big banks are still holding their purse strings. They still are not letting that money go, and your community banks are doing a better job of helping the small business. I keep going back to that.
I agree with you, and I think it comes down to smaller banks having the flexibility, one, and the relatability to help those small businesses, especially in their immediate community. And we don't look at our client base as just a number. We know their names. we're able to call them. Many of times I've given my cell phone numbers to those that I've worked with, and it's certainly a different type of relationship. I've worked with larger institutions, and I can get a sense of that feel. However, working with Vista Bank, surely you will experience the personal banking relationship, with a lender that's going to guide you through this. And Marva, one of the things that we've learned through not only the Paycheck Protection Program, but the Main Street Lending Program as well, which Vista Bank was second in the nation in doing, of helping small businesses kind of get back on their feet. We're able and willing to work with those, especially in the Black and Brown community, to ensure that they are get back up and running. Their institute or their small businesses are in the best shape as we come out of this pandemic. And so, and getting with a bank of our size, 1 billion in assets, will enable any client to do so.
Okay. Well, I think you have helped us out again today. You've covered a lot of things. Is there anything else that you want to share with us before we go? Tell us about something that we definitely need to know. Go ahead.
Absolutely. I would just encourage, especially those sole proprietors, independent contractors. There are some really good revisions made to the Paycheck Protection Program, especially for the second draw, to take advantage of. I would encourage those applicants, if it relates to you, one, to get with a lender that can help you, that can guide you through the process. Those funds are available, as we talked about. Those funds can be forgiven, so long as we abide by the guidelines. And so it's really a resource or tool that should be taken advantage of. But some really good revisions to the program that makes it a little more streamlined, a little better for the applicant or the client.
Okay. Yeah, because back at the very beginning, a lot of Black and brown businesses were saying, I can't do this because I can't even fill out the paperwork. I don't know what I'm supposed to put here or there. And so there was that, like, they were drowning and nobody was reaching them a lifeboat. They were just, and then those bigger companies were swooping in there and getting all that money.
Absolutely. You saw that with the first draw. The second draw, I think, is a little more lax. It's a little more tailored for the small business, and especially glad during this period they were able to give the small businesses an opportunity to kind of get in and take advantage of this program. So hopefully there are many more minority-owned businesses that are stepping in there and taking advantage of this program. Especially, please get with a lender, get with someone who can kind of guide you through the program. I assure you that once you have that understanding of the program from the surface, it may appear that it's a challenge to get through, but I can certainly understand that part of it. But once you get with a lender who understands and gets through the program, you'll be better on the other side, and it's a great benefit for you.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you, Mr. Conwright.
Absolutely.
You are so awesome. Thank you for just, making it plain. You're helping those people with a vision, make it plain, and get the help that they need, and continuously to stimulate our community, because that's, you just got to have that money circulating through the community in order to stimulate it. As I've heard in the past, it takes money to make money. So, when we're working, because the businesses can afford to pay them, then, it's just kind of like, it circles around and it comes back. So Thank
I completely agree with you. Miss Sneed, thank you for the opportunity for again letting me come on here and one plead my case for the Paycheck Protection Program to for those in our communities to take advantage of this. It what matters is the resources that we have and opportunities that we get, and certainly take advantage of those so we can continue to have a sustainability and stay in business.
And you are so right. Thank you, Mr. Conwright. I really appreciate you. I want you
Yes,
to come
ma'am.
because I know, because if anything happens, you're gonna know, and you can come right back here on
Absolutely.
with love and tell us all about it.
I sure will.
All right. Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend.
Yes, ma'am. Likewise.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
All right, that was pretty cool because he's a very knowledgeable young man with a community bank. He's a VP in the company, so he is actually out there helping people, Black and brown people, get their money. So if you are a small business and you need some money, I want you to go to. I'm going to put it in the chat here. Go to Vista. Let me do this right quick. All right. Oh. No, I'm good. Okay, so we're gonna go here, www.vistabank.com. This is the PPP. All right, you want to definitely go check them out. And you know what? Like he said, you may have been denied from one bank, but go to a small community bank, somebody, because the big boys, they're being a little picky and choosy who they take. So you don't want to be a part of that. So thank you for tuning in today.